Hey everyone, welcome to a first look at Flashpoint Campaign Southern Storm. This is going to be a learn as you play playthrough. That means each episode is going to focus on a unique mechanic, topic, or strategy that you can use in Southern Storm. The first part of this episode is going to cover the campaigns as well as the scenarios. So if we navigate over here to the left-hand side under main menu and we click on campaign, we can see each one of the campaigns that Southern Storm comes with. It comes with a total of 3, and they take places of different armies as well as different parts of Europe and battlefields. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on scenario over here, and we're going to reselect all of these. Yours will come already selected. That means you'll have a list of scenarios to choose from, and you can filter them by criteria. Ideally, you want to deselect a bunch of these and either start with the tutorials, which are the extra small ones, or just the general small scenarios. When we select Hunting in the Woods, this is the scenario we're going to be playing in the second part of this episode. We're going to double click it. And over here on this right-hand side where you see Warsaw Pact, you can see 3 different battle plans. Each scenario comes with 3 different battle plans, and we can randomize those selections. So if we re-highlight everything, we can take a look at how many scenarios there are, as well as how many different battle plans there will be for each scenario. So we hit the back button now, and we're going to go into our actual save scenario and enter the second part of this video. During this part of this video, we're going to discuss basic strategy on how to understand what's going on the battlefield, as well as some basic unit movement. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate up to the left-hand corner, and we're going to select staff, and then from staff, we're going to select operations. Under operations, we're going to focus mainly on number 2, which is our mission, block the Czechoslovakian advance along the Hayden River and along Highway 470. So if we come over here, we can identify the river. If we zoom in and not out, we can come to the conclusion that the Czechoslovakian army is going to advance along this river, Highway 470, to this main objective. So they're moving southeast. There's an objective down here worth 500 points, and this is the highway they're advancing along. So they're going through this valley, along this river, and probably using these trees for coverage, and hopefully not moving south and running into our surprise assault. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to terrain overlay, and we're just going to take a look at the cover. As you see, it brings up a bunch of percentages. Well, this just gives you a basic overview of some of the cover that is in and around the objective, as well as all over the map. So what that means is these cover percentages are 0 to 100. That means there's 84% cover right here, 70% cover over here, 83% cover right here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn cover back off. We're going to go to counters, and we're going to hide all the counters. That's going to hide all the counters from us. And we can bring cover back up if we wanted to, just to get a better look at the map and where everything is. We're going to bring the counters back on, and we're also going to turn cover back off. There's also several other options that you can choose from, but we're not going to go into those right now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on each one of these units. As you see, some of these units already have movement paths. They are currently assigned Move Deliberate, and they're moving to certain objectives along the map, as you can see. So the next thing we're going to focus on is the line of sight. If we hit Control L, it's going to bring the line of sight up for a particular unit, but if we hit the Shift key and click on a location, it's going to allow us to see the line of sight from that objective. So as you can see, some of my units are moving into some weird spots, but that's really important to know, as you can see that there's significant amounts of line of sight there, especially when overlooking this position right here. One thing to make note of is right here, if I hit Shift X, this is a really critical position in my opinion, because it provides a lot of line of sight, one over the valley as well as the objective, both primary and secondary. And if we were to hit Shift and slowly walk our mouse clicks back, we can see that there's really no line of sight into the valley until these 2 hexes, Shift 49 and 47 right there. But as I move back forward, all our unit placement is able to provide oversight of those 2 hexes as well as the objective. So that's why we have our current layout. The next thing to make note of is for our main, we're going to go to Unit Dashboard. This is going to bring up what our units are, their basic orders, what subunits are with them, and then from there we can click on the cavalry scouts to see what type of ammunition they have, and what type of weapons they're bringing. So we're going to right click this unit also and go to subunit inspector. We can do the same thing. Here we have an M113A2 tracked APC. It tells you the basic weapons for it, it tells you its systems, and it tells you its sensors. If you hit this arrow over here on this left-hand side, it moves to the cavalry scout, and it also tells you its small arms, saw, ammo 60 burst, area 400 meters. That's all important to know. We'll go over more line of sight as well as maximum engagement ranges in a later video. As you can see that the M72 Law comes with them as well, and it has a maximum range of 200 meters. So we wanted to engage units. Obviously, we could not engage these units 5,000 or even 10,000 meters out with these recon units. So ideally, they're going to be quite close to some of these, at least Hill 47 and Hill 49. All right, that's kind of the basic overview of why I set these units up. The next thing we're going to click on is this artillery unit right here in this lower left-hand corner. It can also be found via the staff drop-down. If we close staff drop-down and we click on fire support, it brings up our artillery right here. And we can identify it over here on this left-hand side. It has fire missions, it has fire control center. And if we close that window down, we can right-click and we can set up barrages. We can put it on call for right now, just in case we need to barrage anyone who's moving into position. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to play through one turn. All right, so we do have some light electronic warfare. We'll discuss electronic warfare at a later time. We're just doing basic unit setup throughout this episode. Our units are slowly going to begin moving into position. Our tanks are moving eastward. And obviously you can turn fog of war on as well as hide all those units. We do have a small traffic jam. This is a we go game. So we have the 20th Czechoslovakian moving to meet the 19th. And the 19th doesn't look like to be advancing anywhere. Our units continue to move along the pathways that we assigned them. Our mechanized divisions are getting into position, and our recon units are working to scout out. I only moved one recon unit up over here on this northeast side, or northwest, because I didn't want him to engage that heavy fighting initially. We continue to set up our defense in an attempt to stop these two units. All right, we've just received reinforcements. They come with 2 Stingers, a headquarters, as well as a CP, as well as a forward operating base, and several Humvees. They arrived in Hex 2729. So if we zoom out, the American phase is about to begin. So if we come over here, zoom out, see if we can identify any of that. Here's our HQ unit right there. Here's our FART. That's our forward operating base. And we're going to perform a quick save. We're just going to hit save right there. Save it as test. I always want to save after each turn. These units over here have dismounted, as you make note. So they're still working to move to secure that town, which is good. All our units are still moving into position. We do have a bit of a situation over here on this right-hand side. Looks like several flat guns as well as an HQ gun. We're still working to secure our first objective, and we're possibly going to fall back and secure this secondary objective here in a moment. But I want to set up our initial defense. So this battle is 4 hours long. The only time that's elapsed up here in this right-hand corner is 15 minutes. All right, we're going to hit the start button one more time. 19 minutes is about to engage. So we're already almost 25% through the scenario. We're only actually a little less. But units are moving around. Everyone's getting set up. And we're moving to prevent this Czechoslovakian army from advancing along this position. All right, once everyone's in position, we'll move to secure this secondary objective, and we may actually push along to objective 100 around B470. But ideally, we want to wait for some fire support. All right, and there it is. We have 2 Kiowas, Hex 2429, arriving. So we do have some air support. We're not going to utilize them yet because we don't really know what kind of... Oh. All right, here's another significant offense coming from this right-hand side. We have this objective secure, and we need to ensure that this area is plenty defended. So what we're going to do is we don't really have good line of sight over here on this eastern side of Hex B470, but a lot of our other units have fairly decent lines of sight. This area is fairly covered. These units are doing perfectly fine where they're at. We're going to do a quick line of sight check with Control L and see when these units over here will begin engaging us. So if we hit Shift, they don't really have any line of sight until around 55 right there. If they move to right there, 44, they do get a good line of sight. So we're relatively safe in our position. And this unit should be able to engage that unit before he has line of sight on us. Let's confirm. All right, we'll play through one more turn. We're at 34 minutes. Let's get 25% of this game out of the way. Let's identify our Kiowas by zooming out. All right, we're going to put them on hunt. And we're just going to move them up to there. We actually don't want that. Edit waypoint. We want that to be a screen, and we're going to apply that. We don't want that unit. A hold would cause significant delay. And then let's go like this. Let's zoom out, right click, hunt. Screen. Standoff hex is 2 hexes. We should be able to move into that position. This is for our helos when they get into position, and we're actually going to call in some fire support. I don't think we have a lot of range. That's unfortunate. We do need to move this unit. Hasty. Right up there. We're going to hit commit, and we're going to hit on call. Enter. Play through one more turn. 19 minutes. Kiowa's moving into position. Anti-tank standing by. Our 2 M1 Abrams are in position. 4 standing. We're about to make first contact. Kiowa's in position. Waiting on the rest of the formation. We should begin engaging some of these units momentarily. There's our first contact. As you see, that looks on-call artillery. All right, significant force. Moving in. All right, we're receiving fire from that unit. Looks like a tank. Contact identified, continuing to engage. This is only a platoon. We don't have a significant amount of force, and we've already been pushed back off our objective, off our defensive position. That unit's still continuing to navigate down the road. And we lost 1 M1 A1s right out of the gate. All right, we destroyed 3 T-55s in that engagement. 1 BRDM destroyed as well. All right, he's immediately scooting off his position, and we're continuing to set up a good defensive line. We're possibly going to have to move these laws up, and possibly this tank as well. All right, that's a significant force, as you see. Continuing to back off, we do have some penetration right there, which is unfortunate, but we should be able to engage those units. We're going to get this anti-tank in position. All right, guys, that's the video. Make sure you leave a like, comment,